At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
That's always kind of been her thing, right? Drawing?
You have to promise not to freak out.
Amber drew that?
She's working through some stuff.
You know, feelings aren't bad. When you get angry, sad, or scared, put it in here, where it can't hurt anyone.
Here's the thing. Life is all about balancing the good and the bad.
I saw an eyeball with legs.
Every part of that was horrifying.
Sketch. In theaters August 6th. Get your tickets now at angel.com/sketch.
Hey friends, it's time for another Encore presentation of Girls Gone Hallmark. This time we are revisiting our reviews of the Holidazed series. These were originally recorded in December 2024, so you might hear a reference here and there to something around the holiday season, but in honor of the fact that Hallmark is re-airing these episodes on the Hallmark Channel for the first time, we wanted to re-share our reviews along with those drops so you can listen along as you're watching. Enjoy the show.
This is a Bramble Jam podcast.
Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater.
We're heading into the Holidazed home stretch. Today we are discussing Holidazed episode 7, the Manetti-Hanahan family, the final of the individual family episodes before our finale. We're going to be changing up the format of this episode just a little bit. We have been kind of doing a scene-by-scene recap, but I did find that these final 2 episodes were a little bit chaotic.
Lots of people, lots of jumping back and forth. So instead, we're going to focus on a character-driven synopsis today. Okay.
May I suggest that we start with Clark, who is, in fact, my favorite Manetti-Hanahan.
He's the least problematic.
That's why I like him. I'm like, oh, he gets things done. He's pretty non-confrontational. Like, he and his dad go for it, but in a way where he's like just trying to solve problems.
Yes.
What's that face?
No, there's a great quote that I want to just make sure that we cover when we talk about Clark and Chuck.
Well, Clark and Chuck, their big issue is, first, let's do the beginning of the episode before we dive into these, because the episode actually begins with Connie Manetti-Hanahan making like a video about how all she wants is like a lovely family holiday. Cut to Chuck getting arrested.
Yes, this is very confusing to me.
I assume it's a previous year, but we were watching it together and I paused it and I was like, what's happening here?
Yeah, I believe it's a previous year. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, there was no reason for Chuck to get arrested this year?
Yeah, like, are we to believe that Manny called the police because Chuck had done something?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that Connie is using this video from previous year to be like, I don't want to revisit that. This is the Christmas I want this year, not that.
Yes, and we cut to everyone in the house. It's the dark. Now, it's dark in the house. The power is out. I assumed that in this episode, we're starting at the power outage.
Mm-hmm.
I was wrong. Their power is out because their house is just a series of deferred maintenance items.
Well, I think back in episode 1, when they plugged in
it blew the fuse.
It blew the fuse.
Yeah. And so their electrical panel is overloaded. We learned there's a lot of stuff going on in the house that just hadn't been taken care of.
Right.
And so Chuck's like, I'm going to fix this. And they look at the panel and it's like completely fried. And Clark's like, yo, man, you need solar panels. And he's like, this is what he does for a living. But it's just so funny to me. He's like, I'm going to install solar panels on your house.
Yeah, there was a lot of things here. I was like, what, he just has solar panels laying around?
And the battery backup and everything to put it together.
I've been through this process at my house of putting solar panels on and a backup battery. And it takes weeks and it takes city approval and it takes all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But the best interaction between Clark and Chuck about these solar panels. Chuck says, green is a color, son, not a solution.
Yes.
And I died. I was like, you go and turn your Fox News back on, because my God, have I heard this from my family members.
Interesting.
How could you spend so much money on solar panels? Whoa. Oh my God. Oh my God. You know who's laughing when those drones come and like take over our world? I am, because I got a battery backup.
Battery backup.
Just kidding. I'm joking, guys. I am just joking.
So this runs throughout. Like basically Chuck and Clark are like in a battle to see who can repair the power faster. And Chuck is like putting band-aids over bullet holes. Like he plugs in a generator at one point, the generator, so they can blow dry their hair. This was a weird storyline with like the kids needing to like get their hair washed.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it was. You know, Chuck is a lot. Could you imagine having Chuck as your dad, growing up with Chuck as your dad?
Chuck exhausted me. Like he was just unnecessarily difficult, I felt like.
Yeah, imagine that being your neighbor too. Like you would just never get along with this person. This person always thinks he's right because he has some experience.
Well, and he's clearly a guy who always has like a project going, because at one point they show us their mantle, which is like burned.
Yeah.
No explanation for that. Like, was there a fire? Is it just like the result of like, I don't know what happened.
Is it like soot
Yes.
from the
Yeah.
running the fire?
It's unclear to me, but it's just one of those things that you can imagine he's like, no, honey, I'll get to it. And she's like sick and tired of waiting for him to get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Always has a project, always kind of trying to fix things himself. And it is not working out. Spoiler alert, Clark does get the power running with his magical solar panels.
Yay, Clark.
Yay, Clark.
Clark's a real wowie zowie too, in my opinion.
Yeah, I enjoy Giles Panton.
Did you just pull that name out from nowhere?
No, I have the list of the characters.
Oh, I do not. But
If you want a full rundown of the cast of this episode, please visit our show notes, where we will have detailed information on each of them. It would be an entire episode to run them down.
Yes. I want to talk about the sister and the sister-in-law.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. But what's the other sister's name? Lori is the actual sister. She's played by Hilary Jardine. Rebecca is the sister-in-law, daughter-in-law.
Played by Lucy Guest.
And you're right. Lori is the mean sister.
Lori, this whole family is mean. If you look at them, Katie is mean from previous episode. We talked about
Yeah, I mean,
Katie.
you kind of understand why Katie is the way she is.
Chuck is mean.
The only one who's not mean is Connie. Well, Clark. Connie and Clark.
Yeah.
And the kids.
What's her name?
Lori.
Lori's real mean.
Yeah, so Lori and Rebecca have beef. Lori tries to make you believe that it's because Rebecca is like superior and she's vegan and has these high standards for her children. And I'm sure she's made some snide remarks because Lori's like, you know, when you say like, maybe you shouldn't give them sugar before dinner, Rebecca's like, I'm just taking care of your children. And Lori's like, I hear that as you think I can't, right? Like I get those kind of like back and forth.
Sure.
But Lori is coming from a place of like, there's not anything Rebecca could do that she wouldn't find annoying.
Right.
She finds her existence annoying. She finds her life annoying. And so they almost come to like a little bit of an agreement, and then it kind of blows up again.
Badly.
Yeah. It starts in the salon where Lori's like, try having 3 kids and see how good of a mom you are at that point. Like, I'm just treading water. Rebecca doesn't say anything at that point, but like that comment hits her.
Well, you can see it though.
Sure, 100%.
She's completely devastated at the comment and just walks away.
And you kind of do see, you think like maybe they've come to an understanding of each other at this point, maybe a little bit. Cut to, they're in the pantry and Lori tries to like offer an olive branch. She's like, let me introduce you to my secret box of wine. And she hands it to Rebecca and like Rebecca gags and Lori's like, she can't handle it. Like she's so annoyed because she thinks Rebecca's gagging because like, she's too classy. It's cheap wine. She can't have it. Honestly, like we know what is happening at this point.
No, I hadn't caught it.
Oh, you hadn't?
Yeah.
It is in this wine scene that Rebecca reveals that she can't have children.
It's kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because this is a vegan family and she's like
sneaking meat from
she's sneaking Wally's meat house. She explains to Lori, like, we've tried and tried and tried and we can't have more children. And so, like, I would love to be overwhelmed by children.
Yeah. And she's like, we've recently decided to give up trying.
Yes.
Like, that's a hard decision to come to. I thought it was a very nice, like, here I'm laying bare everything. Like, this is what's going on for me. And your comment really hurt.
And like, yeah, I do maybe parent my child to perfection because this is the one child I have. This is my one shot. And so, like, if I can't have more children, I'm going to throw my whole self into this one child.
Yes.
And also, we're different people. Like, what's important to me is not what's important to you. And, like, maybe I should shut my mouth sometimes about, like, the way you parent your kids. But we can do things differently.
Yeah, but they have this beautiful, like, understanding. And then that's when Lori goes to share the wine and Rebecca kind of gags out on it. And then Lori's like, oh, forget it. I tried.
Yeah, I feel like it's a leap too far, but I also feel like it's been years of Lori feeling judged by Rebecca.
We get the flip side of Katie coming home after the breakup.
Yeah.
So, and of course, we saw in the last episode, Kevin dumps Katie, and then they go off to the stroll, and we see Katie, like, watching from the window. But now we see the flip side of her actually coming home, and she's telling the family, like, what happened. And they fully rally around her. Like, they're ready to ride for her against Camarena family. Is that how you say their name?
Yeah, Katie coming home gives the Manetti-Hanahans a common enemy that is outside of their home. It, like, redirects all this animosity they're feeling towards each other.
Yeah.
And so they all come together in that way. Connie does not want to fight back, and we do need to talk about Connie's storyline.
Yeah.
But I do like, I mean, Connie is the voice of reason in this whole family. And, you know, Katie's like, this is what I feel like we talked about last episode. I think the tone of this episode with Katie is much different than the tone of episode 6. I think
Tell me why.
Because Katie just seems like a heartbroken girl. She's not reading Mean Girl to me in this moment.
Yeah, but then she still shows up to the freaking stroll and, like,
Yeah,
throws the ring back in Kevin's face. It's weird.
That felt more motivated by the fact that she's got all these, like, wild Manetti-Hanahans behind her. Like, they roll deep, they come in, they got this
riled her
hip hop
up.
montage of them, like, marching in.
Yeah.
And then she's been motivated by her family who's, like, out for revenge in whatever form it takes. Like, we hate the Camarenas. Yeah, we hate the Camarenas. Let's do this.
Jeez. Run, Kevin.
Let's talk about Connie.
Let's talk about Connie.
So halfway through the episode when he's like, I got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah. I'm glad they kept it vague.
Yeah, me too.
I'm glad they kept it vague.
So we know that Connie just wants a nice Christmas. And at one point early in the episode, Chuck's like, are you okay? And she's like, I just want one nice Christmas. Cut to, we see her, like, missing a phone call. She gets pissed.
Yeah.
She drives to the medical center. They're closed.
It's Christmas Eve.
I mean, of course, right?
Yeah.
She finally reveals that she had an abnormal test result and she had a biopsy and she was hoping to have had the results by now, but she didn't. And so she does make a comment like, this Christmas might be my last. It kind of irked me a little bit. I'm like,
you have no information.
You don't have any
you're
information.
Operating off of fear right now.
Yeah, that seems like a bold statement to me. I can understand being like, I want a good Christmas because I don't know what next year is going to be like. Like, if there is a diagnosis, maybe next year is going to suck dealing with treatment.
Yeah.
But the jumping to, like, this may be my last when you have no information
dying.
was perhaps a little bit too much.
A little insensitive, I think.
But that's where she's operating from.
Well, and now it makes sense how she just wants, like, a Hallmark Christmas card. I think that's what she said.
She does make that statement, yeah.
And I get it. Like, if, she's feeling fearful, but so it's nice to finally have, like, a full loop, a closed loop on the motivation of her, like, in her Christmas contract and all that.
Although, quite frankly, she doesn't even need that. She could just be fed up because this family is impossible. And if this was my Christmas every year where there's just strife and everyone's fighting with everyone else, including the neighbors, I would be tired of it too.
Yeah, and she tries to be, like, so neutral. I would be, like, screaming my head off, like, enough already!
Yeah, I think I would just be like, bye. I'm not doing this. Like, you figure it out. Goodbye. Goodbye. The only softness we see in this episode comes from Chuck when Connie gives him this information, and he has to make a military metaphor. He's like, I've never lost anyone under my command. I'm not about to lose you. I did enjoy that.
I enjoyed the softening of Chuck here at the end of this episode as well.
Also, I kind of like the llama.
Please explain to me, why was he looking for a reindeer?
Apparently, she had signed them up to bring the reindeer to the stroll. And I was like, real reindeer? You're going to have live reindeer at the stroll? Why? Like, for decoration? I didn't understand. But they hadn't made a reindeer reservation, and Chuck's supposed to get a reindeer, and there's no reindeer. All they got is a llama. But I really liked Chuck with the llama.
Okay. I like llamas too. I just don't. It was weird to me. Like,
it was odd.
It was a weird.
Just adds to the chaos.
Yeah, too much chaos. I don't operate on chaos, guys, and so this family stresses me out.
The episode ends. We have our classic power outage moment. Oh no, we do learn that Rebecca's pregnant. Because they come home.
Right. Yes.
And they're all going to get the family photo. They've all reunited over their shared goal of taking down the Camarenas. They go cause havoc at the stroll, and they come home and they're going to get the family photo. And there's like this montage of everyone making the house nice and getting into their sweaters, and they repair the mantle and all of this. And Lori offers Rebecca a glass of
nice wine.
And she gags there too. And she was like, what the hell, man? And then she was like, she's pregnant. Even the fancy wine makes her gag.
Hey, did you catch the oh shit in this episode and shit got bleeped? Yeah. Yeah.
Clark shows off his solar setup. They turn the lights back on, all of this.
This was all good news. Yes.
And Chuck's like, maybe I'll scale down the Christmas lights so that our solar load can handle it.
This is so dumb. This is so dumb to me because their Christmas lights are not that obnoxious.
I think it's like there has to be some Christmas Vacation inspiration here because in the next episode, spoiler alert, there's like a moment where like the lights are like really blinding in the Camarena's house.
Mm-hmm.
And in Christmas Vacation, there's a moment where like the neighbors are blinded by Clark's lights. Nobody's Christmas lights are that bright that they're like a spotlight shining into your house.
No, never. Now, I will tell you, my house, our houses, I live in Southern California. Our houses, we don't have like, there's not miles and miles between the next house, right? No. And so when their Christmas lights have been turning on lately, like I see them from our windows, but I actually enjoy it.
Well, it's not like blinding you. You can still go about your day.
No, it's just like a nice little, and I'll be sad when the season's over and they doesn't turn on anymore.
So the power goes on. The family waits by the tree. They're about to get their family photo, and boom, the power goes out.
Storm
with the
out
storm.
The power.
But that solar bit does set us up nicely for episode 8, bringing the families together. So thank you for listening to this episode of Girls Gone Hallmark, a Bramble Jam podcast. Come back tomorrow for our wrap up of Holidazed. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, friends, before we go, just a quick heads up. You're about to hear some ads. These little gems help us keep the show running and the Hallmark love flowing. So do with that info what you will. Grab a snack, hit the skip button, or maybe, just maybe, listen in and discover your new favorite product. Bye.
That's always kind of been her thing, right? Drawing?
You have to promise not to freak out.
Amber drew that?
She's working through some stuff.
Feelings aren't bad. When you get angry, sad, or scared, put it in here, where it can't hurt anyone.
Here's the thing. Life is all about balancing the good and the bad.
I saw an eyeball with legs.
Every part of that was horrifying.
Sketch In theaters August 6th. Get your tickets now at angel.com/sketch.
Amber's drawings might be. You have to promise not to freak out. You're not an evil person just because you drew pictures.
Amber drew that?
What in the...
Sketch. In theaters August 6th. Get your tickets now at angel.com/sketch.
That's always kind of been her thing, right? Drawing?
You have to promise not to freak out.
Amber drew that?
She's working through some stuff.
You know, feelings aren't bad. When you get angry, sad, or scared, put it in here, where it can't hurt anyone.
Here's the thing. Life is all about balancing the good and the bad.
I saw an eyeball with legs.
Every part of that was horrifying.
Sketch. In theaters August 6th. Get your tickets now at angel.com/sketch.
That's always kind of been her thing, right? Drawing?
You have to promise not to freak out.
Amber drew that?
She's working through some stuff.
You know, feelings aren't bad. When you get angry, sad, or scared, put it in here, where it can't hurt anyone.
Here's the thing. Life is all about balancing the good and the bad.
I saw an eyeball with legs.
Every part of that was horrifying.
Sketch. In theaters August 6th. Get your tickets now at angel.com/sketch.
That's always kind of been her thing, right? Drawing?
You have to promise not to freak out.
Amber drew that?
She's working through some stuff.
You know, feelings aren't bad. When you get angry, sad, or scared, put it in here, where it can't hurt anyone.
Here's the thing. Life is all about balancing the good and the bad.
I saw an eyeball with legs.
Every part of that was horrifying.
Sketch. In theaters August 6th. Get your tickets now at angel.com/sketch.